Welcome. Episode 2 of Video BALLITICS.
All right.
Obviously, with the main man Ray and me, I'm Connor. And we got a good pod today. I'm excited. I'm stoked to get into it.
Yeah.
And I think we should do it, man.
All right, let's get it going.
Start her up. First one here. This is a little game we might play every once in a while here at BALLITICS. Bench, start, cut, or however we put it. Start, bench, cut, either way. We'll put up 3 guys about the same skill level, and we'll see what we would do if we were the coach, GM, whatever, to put them in the roster.
Good list.
I'll open this one up because I actually I might have some controversial opinions on this one. I'm a huge Donovan Mitchell fan, so I'm going to go start Donovan Mitchell right away. That's a quick one for me. And then I'm going to go bench Kemba Walker because I like Kemba, and I'm going to go cut CJ. Obviously, today we're recording on a Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday!
And CJ McCollum just got his bag today. He got 3 years, $100 million.
Well deserved.
Which is deserved for what he's done for Portland, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I've just never, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I've never bought into the Portland thing. They're fun to watch, but I can't get into the Dame McCollum backcourt.
Gotcha.
I think they're super fun to watch. I think they seem like really cool guys. And they're great players, but in terms of these guys, my 2 favorites here are going to be Mitchell and Kemba, and Mitchell being obviously my favorite.
All right, my turn. And I totally disagree.
Really?
It's all right, though.
Good,
Here we go. All right,
good.
so for me, I'm going start C.J. McCollum.
Really?
I'll tell you why in a minute.
Okay.
I'm going bench Donovan Mitchell,
Okay.
and I'm cutting my man over here in the Boston Green, Kemba Walker. And obviously, all great players, and
Sure.
we're just having fun with this. But I'm old school, right? Okay, so C.J. McCullough is just one of those guys that we just call a baller.
Okay.
You drop him in any park, in any arena, put on any jersey, put him in any situation, and he is going to get buckets.
Okay.
He has earned my respect as someone who appreciates guys who ball at the highest level. The problem that a lot of guys that are around my age group have with some of the players in today's day and age, I'm the get off my lawn guy right now. Okay, it's okay. The problem that we have is that we see these stats, we see these numbers put up through the regular season, and then I see you completely disappear in the postseason. CJ McCullough is a guy that I have seen in the postseason for several seasons now consistently go toe-to-toe with the best 2 guards in the entire league. And I see him going mano-a-mano off the dribble, off the catch and shoot, off the pick and roll. He gets in the middle of the lane. He creates havoc there. He gets to the free throw line and doesn't say a word. He just goes about his business.
Right.
I don't want to compare him to this player, but almost kind of like a old school Joe Dumars that was next to Isaiah Thomas, right?
Sure.
He just goes out there and does his job.
Right.
And there's a lot of nights when he's the best player on his own team, even outside of Damian Lillard. Dame is more exciting. He hits the exciting shot. He has the flair and the flash.
Yeah.
But you put the ball in C.J. McCullough's hands, he's a better playmaker, and I believe he's better off the dribble with his jump shot. There's things, obviously, that Dame does better than him.
Absolutely.
But C.J., I just love his all-around game and the fact that he's just a guy that just goes and get buckets, and he's a situational player, right? And what I mean by that is a lot of guys, you put them out there on the court, and depending on what situation it is, they may fail or freeze in those moments. He's a guy that you can put him in any situation and he's going to thrive and get you a bucket. It just doesn't matter. He's going to give you a floater or he's going to pass it to somebody, make the correct play. He's going to get to the free throw line. All those things are in his bag, right?
Yeah. I see Donovan Mitchell do that too, though. And
Donovan Mitchell,
and that was his rookie season. I saw him step up and hit game winners.
He did,
went off in the fourth quarter.
but he also struggled. We've also seen a lot of struggles, and no knock on him. Because obviously, he's a guy out there that's the best player on his team at such a young age, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've seen him have his struggles and walk off that court with his head down, where to me, CJ is just that guy that I just see, there's just no fear in him.
Yeah.
I mean, he just doesn't freeze up in any situation. And obviously, I like Kemba, but Kemba, a little on the short side, for a guard. Hey, it is what it is. And I think that Kemba, if his jumper is not falling, he's going to have issues.
Yeah.
In certain situations, that you would put him in.
He averaged like 26 and 6.
He did.
I mean,
he did.
I don't want to say he's underrated. I think people actually rate Kemba very fairly. I think there's that. I think along the NBA community, there's a very everyone's very consistent with the fact that he was on a bad team.
Yeah.
And he's just a really good player.
And in the Eastern Conference, we're
I'm really excited to see Kemba in Boston.
Yeah.
We talked about this, I think, the first pod, where we were talking about, I think he's actually a better fit than Kyrie.
Yeah, he is.
For Boston.
With that team. Well, first of all, he wants to be there, so that automatically makes him a better fit.
I just think he's going to hoop in Boston, man.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for him and Brad Stevens.
Yeah, I believe he's going to have I believe he's going to have a really good year, and a guy like him, you have to have really good pieces surrounding him.
Yeah,
so the situation he's in is great. But we saw C.J. McCullough and Damian Lillard get to the Western Conference Finals in a stacked Western Conference Finals this year. And that was a lot on the back of C.J. McCullough. Obviously, Damon did his job, but there's a lot of games where you look at Dame's numbers; they weren't great.
Yeah.
But you look at C.J. McCullough; he was steady. He is what we like to call a coach's dream. He's just one of those guys that coaches love.
Yeah.
You just don't have to tell him what to do. He just goes out and doesn't take bad shots. Not a bad shot selection type guy. Not a bulk shooter. He just takes advantage of the touches that he gets and just plays basketball the right way. Yeah. If kids out there watching, that's the guy you pattern your game after if you're a two guard.
All right. There it is. There it is. Next topic here. And I think this one, this next one we're going to talk about here, Ray's probably going to get a little fired up. Ray's going to get a little fired up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to look into the camera for this one because we're going to intro a new segment here, something we've been talking about trying out. It's Common Sense with Ray.
Common sense.
I'll let him run through this for you guys. He's very confident in his segment, and I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm watching for the first time, just like you guys are.
All right, so
take it away, man.
Anybody who talks to me about sports knows that I'm big on common sense, right? And you and I had a conversation about a particular show that's on Fox where it was an argument of my guy Aaron Rodgers, is he a top 5 quarterback? And there's some stat guy that came out and said that Aaron Rodgers is stat-wise not a top. Come on now. Common sense lets you know that number 12 in that green and yellow is a top 5 quarterback. You don't want to see that man come and get out of here. It's nonsense, right? So I like to talk sports with people that have common sense. And the one thing that we know about common sense is that it's not always what?
Not always common.
Not always common. So we're here to give it to you, okay? All right, so this situation here, does Paul George deserve some heat for requesting a trade? Well, the angle I wanted to take at this is absolutely he does. People want to, go off on the Anthony Davis situation. We saw Steve Kerr speak to this.
Yeah.
And, the thing that we'll at least have Anthony Davis back for, of course, he's a fellow Laker and we love him, but it's also facts. He went to management and requested a trade.
Yeah.
They do not have to trade him. And his agent, Rich Paul, came out and said, we will fulfill our contract no matter where we are. You send us to the Celtics, we'll fulfill our contract and go into free agency. We stay here, we'll do the same. He was willing to play after the trade did not go through. It was on their side where they said, we're going to sit you and not play you. The league came out and said you can't do that. Yeah. So they played him 20 minutes a game. And, the last few games he didn't play at all. Okay. And, of course, he beast mode and even in 20 minutes. I mean, he killed our Laker team in 20 minutes. I mean, the numbers were astronomical. In saying all that, he caught heat for it. Some of the heat was deserved, but at the same time, he was trying to get to where he wanted to go, and they did not have to make that happen.
Oops. I'm getting a call. That's my bad.
Okay.
We can cut that out.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Phone calls.
All right. Okay, so when it comes to this Paul George situation, this is unprecedented. Okay, we've seen Kyrie Irving, which nobody mentions. Okay. You're hearing this first on BALLITICS, okay? Nobody mentions the fact that Kyrie Irving, with 2 full years left on his deal, decided to ask to get out, and they traded him.
Right.
That's what set the precedence for what we see now. It was not Anthony Davis. It was Kyrie Irving. Okay, so Kyrie Irving wanted out. They let him out. Some people understood. Some people were mad. It was what it was. Now we get to this situation where a guy has 3 years left on the deal. This is a guy who stood on stage smoking a cigar, a stogie, dancing on stage. I'm going to stay. They made it Paul George.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, they made it Paul George Day and all this stuff that they made it right. And I've never been a believer in Paul George as a number one. Okay, so let's put that out there. I think he's a great player. I'm not knocking him. This is not haterade. Yeah, because he didn't come to the Lakers. This is not haterade. Anybody who talked to me when he was trying to come to the Lakers, I was like, that's fine. I just don't want him as a number one. Yeah. Okay, and so Paul George, I've always had my thoughts about him. Great player, phenomenal year last year, played well in the playoffs. But I have my thoughts on, some of his pedigree. So with this situation, you have 3 years left on your deal, and Anthony Davis, when he asked out of his deal, this is the guy that we're going to set, the bar with, is Anthony Davis. gave almost 7 years of his career to a franchise that didn't put enough talent around him, right?
Boogie and Rondo.
Yeah, and then when you had a chance,
Holiday,
and even though Boogie got hurt,
And
you had a
Holiday.
chance to bring Boogie back. You had a chance to bring Rondo back and make another run, and you did not do that. You had a chance to still surround him with talent. You get rid of the point guard that helped him have one of the best statistical years of his career, and you let Rondo walk out the door to the Lakers. Okay, so mistake there. So there were constant mistakes by the New Orleans Pelicans that made it to where Anthony Davis said it was time to go. So when we get to this Paul George situation, you were successful to a degree in OKC. No, you didn't win a championship, but it was 2 years in, and you got to give your team a time to grow, right? So we come into this season where everybody says the West is wide open, right?
Yeah, anybody can.
If we can pull this up and look at what Paul George's lineup would have been and what his team would have been had he stayed with the OKC Thunder, right? So if we look at this team and you go down the line, if you stay, most likely Russell Westbrook stays.
Right.
Okay. There's rumors that they were maybe shopping Russ. They're over the salary cap, all that stuff. But we're just talking about as a team is constituted and what they would have been competitively if he would have stayed on this team. You got Russell Westbrook, MVP candidate. Paul George, MVP candidate. You have Steven Adams, right? One of the best defensive players and rebounding bigs in the league. Okay. You got up and coming players like Jeremy Grant. Okay, who towards the end of last year was shooting 40% from three, athletic.
Dude, he was huge for them.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be huge for the Nuggets.
Yes, he is.
They lost a really good player.
Every team in this league needs a Jeremy Grant. The guy's just athletic, can guard multiple positions,
Averages
get
14.
rebounds.
Yeah.
Exactly. Average about 13, 14 points a game. And I think he would have did more than that. You had one of the Morris twins on the team, right? Another tough and gritty guy they got, halfway through the season last year who was helping them out. Maybe he comes back if this team is still intact.
Right.
All right, Terrence Ferguson, a nice young
up-and-coming guy.
Yeah, athlete. Terrence was he was the one that was in the dunk contest, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. Okay. Dennis Schroeder. Okay, another really nice piece that even if you didn't keep him, you could have flipped for something else.
Right.
If you think you have too much guard there with him and Russell Westbrook. So you bring Dennis Schroeder back or you flip him. Okay. Raymond Felton, just great role player, right?
Yeah.
Great guy to have. Patrick Patterson, just another one of those really good guys to have on your bench. Defense, hard knows his role, not going to complain.
Shoots a corner three really well.
Yeah. And then we look at Nerlens Noel. We'll see what his possible growth is. And, this was supposed to be a new start for him. And we'll see. So anyways, if you keep this thing intact, basically my thing here is that if he comes back, the Clippers don't become what they become.
Yeah, because does Kawhi go to the Clippers without Paul
Probably
George?
not.
We don't know. Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
If maybe he gets somebody else there,
Right.
we don't know.
Maybe
Okay,
not.
so the Clippers, you take them out of that top 4 slot.
Yes.
Westbrook doesn't go to Houston Rockets.
Right.
Even though I think the Houston Rockets are going to have their struggles, I believe they can still possibly be a top 4 team, top 5 for sure in the West with that amount of talent on
I
that
think they're
team.
going to be explosive.
Yeah. We talked about this before. We'll get into this on another time. But they may have the struggles in the playoffs. But as a regular season team, they're going to be really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, now you have Westbrook does not go to the Houston Rockets to make them better, right?
Right.
So if you look at the fact that you take those teams out of that top 4 to 5, which is Houston and Clippers, and you keep OKC there, you're looking at OKC now with maybe Kawhi Leonard going to the Lakers. Okay. You're looking at Lakers being number 1, whether Kawhi Leonard goes there or not at this point.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at Utah, Denver, and OKC battling for that number 2 spot.
Yeah.
You would have been on
I
a
agree.
team that has chemistry of going into 3 years now, right? You would be on a team that at least has a concept of how they want to play, right? And you would have been on a team with another MVP candidate in Russell Westbrook, despite what we may think about his flaws. He's still a great player in today's league, right?
Absolutely.
And so you left a team that would possibly have been number 2, number 3 in the entire Western Conference to come over to the Clippers, which was your prerogative to go try to ask for a trade.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the answer to this question is, heck yeah, you deserve a lot more heat.
Right.
Because you didn't leave a terrible situation.
Right.
You left a situation that just a year ago you chose. You didn't get drafted there like Anthony Davis. You chose to go there.
We're also comparing it to the Anthony Davis thing because the
Most
Lakers
definitely.
and Anthony Davis received a lot of heat. Obviously, from anybody that's not a Lakers fan. 'Cause
Yeah.
Lakers fans were okay with it. But I know, like, for Pelicans fans, like Chris, Anthony Davis and the Lakers received a ton of heat for the whole trade.
Yes,
thing.
they did. Yes, they did.
And, it's hard because different contracts mean different things. And, like, when Paul George requested his first trade out of Indiana,
That was more along the lines
he
of
was-
an Anthony Davis type situation, right?
he
You've
was
been
like-
there,
he was
you
getting
drafted
close.
there.
Yeah, he was drafted there. He was getting close to the end of his thing, and he was actually doing them a favor by saying, "Get something for me
Exactly.
before I'm gone, because I'm not going to come back."
Which is exactly what Anthony Davis did.
So everything is there's always little asterisks next to everything.
Yes.
But we're talking about this happened the same summer around the exact same time of the Anthony Davis Paul George saga thing. And Paul George reshaped the whole league.
Yes.
And Steve Kerr came out and only talked about Anthony Davis and player movement.
Yes. Which
And,
we all had a problem
and
with.
I think the common sense we're putting in here.
Yes.
And obviously we spelled sense. That's not a mistake. I know how to spell sense. It's because it's a play on words.
Yes.
Or a
We're putting
pun.
in our 2 cents.
A pun, if you will.
All right.
Putting in our 2 cents.
All right.
But yeah, I think it was just for Steve Kerr to not even mention the Paul George thing. They happened around the same time. They kind of had the same implications, if you ask me. Both teams that traded their star away got huge hauls in return.
They did.
In draft picks and young players and all this. So,
But I guarantee you, if you go to the Pelicans and you say, hey, if you had a chance to keep Anthony Davis, even if it was temporarily for maybe another year,
Right.
or have things the way they turned out, which of course they got lucky too with the number 1 pick, that
Yeah,
went their way.
that was huge for them.
Which way would you have it? I guarantee you they take the way that it went down.
I think so too.
I guarantee you, if you ask Sam Presti right now, if you could do it over,
Mm.
and if you had it your way, would you have this team with Paul George, with Westbrook, and we forgot to mention, Andre Roberson, their
Oh, that's
best
right.
wing,
He's
one of the
injured.
best
Yeah,
wing
yeah.
defenders in the NBA, and their stats and the numbers that show how great they are defensively when Andre Roberson's
Yeah.
on the floor, and hopefully he comes back 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so shout out to him, Andre Roberson. If Sam Presti, if you asked him that question, would you like it the way you had now with all these draft picks, or would you want to have Paul George with a healthy Andre Roberson,
Yeah.
with Westbrook, with Steven Adams, and then take this team into a season where the Golden State Warriors are not as dominant anymore, and it's a wide open Western Conference?
Yeah.
You got more chemistry than the Lakers. You got more chemistry than whatever the Clippers are trying to be.
Yeah.
You got more chemistry than any other team out there outside of
Rockets
the
are
Houston
still good,
Rockets.
by the way.
Outside of the
Yeah,
Houston Rockets.
outside of Houston,
But
they're
you're
still
looking
good,
at
yeah.
Chris Paul, who already can't stay healthy,
Yeah.
and another year into that, and there being rumors of those guys not getting along.
Exactly.
And I don't believe that Chris Paul gets moved anywhere else if
Right.
this situation doesn't go through. Nobody's looking to take on that contract.
No, it's a horrible
and so
contract
Houston
for
would have
his
been
age.
going into it with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
As we know, they fired a lot of Mike D'Antoni's staff.
Hmm.
His defensive, coordinator, if you want to put it that way, is gone.
Yeah.
They didn't extend his contract. So Houston would have gone into next year with a lot of questions, even though they're very talented.
Yeah.
So this squad goes in with team intact, getting Andre Roberson added back to the mix, and you got chemistry already. You and Russell Westbrook obviously like each other. This
Yeah.
wasn't that you split because you two didn't like each other.
No,
right?
it seemed like they were happy to be teammates.
Yeah, and so that's why this topic right here and this guy right here made me so heated, because you left a situation that could have been a really good situation.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that this is a topic that we thought about and we thought about touching on, because I hear no one else talking about this topic
right.
and what OKC could have been had he stayed.
Right.
Nobody's talking about what the Pelicans could have been if Anthony Davis would have stayed. Nobody really cared about Anthony Davis and Zion Williamson on the same team. It would have been
tell you
fun.
differently.
It would have been fun, but nobody would have been talking about them winning a championship with a
Right.
rookie on their squad, right?
Yeah.
People need to be talking about what this team would have been had this guy had stayed, right? And what position.
Politics here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're not LA, they're not New York, they're not Chicago, they're not Philadelphia, but somebody's got to speak up and feel for these fans.
Yeah.
They completely got screwed over in this situation, and I'm sure they're at home. Some of you guys are listening to this, you're clapping your hands and saying thanks, somebody's speaking up for us. The
Somebody's saying
OKC
something.
fans,
Yeah.
it feels like they don't even have a voice.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure that they do not feel good about this. If I'm a season ticket holder for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I am upset and I want a refund.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going into the season with Paul George and
Now you got-
Westbrook
now you got Chris Paul and some young cats.
yeah. So and
Steven Adams.
I believe even with what they have left over and with Chris Paul, they can still be a competitive team. That's how good this
I
team
can see them
was.
kind of sneaking into an 8th seed.
Yeah, maybe they can. I don't know if Chris
Maybe.
Paul can stay healthy.
Yeah.
It'll be hard, right? But this is still going to be a team on a nightly basis that you just can't walk in and say, we're going to blast these guys by 20.
Right.
You got to come in and play against
Yeah.
this team,
I agree. Yep.
So, and
right.
then also, you made Denver Nuggets better by giving away Jeremy Grant
Right.
for draft picks. So
Yeah.
all these moves that were made, I guarantee you these are not moves that Sam Presti wanted to make
Yeah.
after giving Jeremy Grant 40-something million last
Right.
summer. Obviously, he's the guy you liked and you wanted to keep there. So you were forced into this rebuild that is not going to work out well for them.
Yeah. All right, and we'll move on to the next.
And that's
spot
my
here.
2 cents.
That's the common sense, right?
Common sense, baby.
And we'll move on to the next. We'll move on to the next slide here. And the next segment we'll talk about. This isn't. Neither of us are super passionate about this, but it's hot button right now. People are talking about it, so we just wanted to mention something. Obviously, Ray, as a dad, I'd love to hear what he had to say about this. My personal thing with this, and if you don't know. LeBron got a little excited about his son Bronny catching a lob, which, by the way, was incredible. I don't know if you saw the play.
Yes,
but it was a between the legs pass, and then Bronny caught it and flushed it with ease.
Yeah,
and he's what, like 16?
Yeah, going into his.
14?
He's going into 9th grade.
Yeah, he's
going into 9th grade.
So yeah,
unbelievable.
I wasn't even finished growing armpit hair at that age, and
I wasn't grabbing the rim in 8th grade.
So it was an incredible play.
And I was a pretty good athlete.
Yeah. So that was incredible. And LeBron rightfully got excited. My thing was maybe don't step on the court during the game.
Yeah.
That's a little bit over the line, but some people are taking it a little too far with saying, oh, LeBron this, LeBron that. It has nothing to do with his character or who he is as a dad or any of this stuff.
Of course not.
It's nothing personal. It's just maybe don't step on the court during the game. That'd be my only complaint as maybe a parent or a kid on the other team or whatever. But I'm glad he gets excited for it.
And what are your thoughts on the layup line?
Oh, the where he goes out dunking?
Yes.
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
If I was a player on Bronny's team, I would think that was fun.
Yes.
I would love that.
Yes.
Intimidating the other team.
Yeah, you're intimidating the other team, yeah. And as a player on the other team, I'd be scared.
Yes.
So I don't mind it at all. I think the layup line thing is fun. Maybe don't step on the court during the game. But he is LeBron James. We get it.
Yeah. And that's just for safety reasons, to be honest with you.
It is.
And we don't want to set a precedence of,
parents can come on the court. Right. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are.
You have parents out there, hey, LeBron did it.
Exactly.
You know how that goes.
Right. So, yeah, it doesn't.
So with this topic, I look at it a couple different ways. With LeBron James, and this topic was kind of brought to the forefront, and I think kind of caught on fire because a certain guy by the name of his name rhymes with Chip Wayless.
Bip Scaleless, yeah.
Who is a renowned LeBron hater.
Yeah.
Just needed something to talk about, so they went in on this. And I get part of what they were saying, but to me, nobody knows that relationship between that father and son like that father and son. Right? So there's some sons that would say, Dad, you're embarrassing me. Like, get off the floor. Or you got some kids that would say, hey, this is my time to shine. You're an NBA player. You've had your time to shine. Sit down somewhere.
Sure.
Let me have But we don't know their relationship. Their relationship could be one of, I see you and your dad. You guys have a great father-son relationship, right?
Yeah.
Their relationship could be of, hey, you know what? This is my dad, and how cool is this? That he's in a layup line with me, dunking with my friends and having a good time.
That he cares enough to be out there.
So it all depends on the relationship between him and his son, and none of us can judge that. And so LeBron James is going to have to be the type of dad where he knows and can gauge the temperature of his son and knows, okay, if this is going to bother him or not.
Sure.
So if he knows his son as well as we think he knows his son, I'm sure this is maybe something that they've maybe either talked about or they just don't talk about because they just have such a good relationship and he knows, hey, my son's going to be cool with me doing this.
And I remember being a kid that age and maybe telling my dad, like, hey, Dad, here's what I'm going to do this game. Maybe he told LeBron before the game, I'm going to catch a lob this game. Maybe they're playing this. I don't know. You never know.
And again, as a father myself, and my daughter, she's not an athlete, but she's in the School of the Arts, and she sings and dances and acts and all those things, right? There are certain things that I know right now that I can do, with in front of my daughter and her friends. There's some things I know, okay, that would embarrass her. Even though I'm a big goofball and there's things I like to do, I just know, okay, if I did that, that would embarrass her. If I did this, she's going to think it's funny, and it'll be funny in front of her friends. Sure. So it's all about knowing your child and what you think that they can handle or can't handle or what your relationship is with them. And obviously, if Bronny hasn't complained about it to mom, because what usually happens is you complain to mom, right? Mom, can you tell Dad to stop? So if Savannah hasn't told LeBron, hey, Bronny said chill, and all that, then hey, you know what? Go for it, have fun. And I can see, we don't know this kid obviously at all. But I can see parts of his personality are like LeBron's when they did the Taco Tuesday and they put the camera on his son. He's Taco Tuesday. He's doing the same thing. You know what? They're a lot alike, and they like to have fun and they like to clown. And I absolutely love their relationship and what they're showing on national TV.
And I know something. This guy calls him like a weirdo and says it's childish. And he's a verified account. This guy's from Barstool. He's calling him a weirdo and stuff. But.
And we all know LeBron is a glory hog. We know that he likes the attention, and all those things. But I'm fine with it. Bottom line is I'm fine with it if his son is fine with it.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm with you. All right, and the next thing we're going to do here, and obviously you might have been out of the 2K game for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Once I had to start reading study guides on how to make moves to get by somebody and score, I kind of stopped playing the video games.
Yeah. Which is surprising, being that you could make my player whose knees aren't broken, you could see yourself actually play again. But no, I'm just kidding. That's just poking out of
that's all right. That's all right.
But no, it's interesting though, because a lot of people judge what they think about players off of 2K, and not to say that they don't watch the game, but it is interesting. It's almost like ESPN ratings and stuff like that to see 2K rate players.
Yeah, and it's interesting how important it is now, and how disappointed players get.
Yeah, a lot of players
highly
take it
disappointed.
Very seriously.
I saw Jason Tatum and his reaction.
Yeah.
It was not good.
A lot of players take it very, very seriously.
Yeah.
So it goes without saying, we should talk about it.
Yes.
Right? If it's in the basketball
why not?
world, Ballitics is going to talk about
Yeah,
it. Okay?
why not?
And we'll talk about whether we agree or disagree. But one thing I wanted to touch on first, as we get into this, we were talking about earlier, in the break, we were talking about guys who we think could be number ones on championship teams.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting here. The first 5 or 6 guys, I think, are kind of that category.
Yes.
Second guys are all guys who could be but aren't there yet.
I agree.
And are probably perfect number 2s.
I agree.
And then third is whatever. But it's just funny how it breaks down. They kind of got that right.
Yes.
I would agree with these top lineups here. Now, obviously, I would think that Jokic is somewhere in that range. I would put Jokic like a 93.
I agree. He's become unstoppable in today's NBA.
Yeah, I love the way that he's a big man that adjusted perfectly to this era.
Yeah, he did.
He's a perfect big man.
He's a very good player.
Yeah, everything else I agree with. I would have put I would have put the Joker a little bit higher. But that's the only complaint I have. The bottom 3, I think, are very debatable.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of guys you can kind of slide into that category down there of that like low 90.
And Clay being, obviously his teammate, Splashware teammate, is a great shooter, but Clay being the best shooter in the game right now to be that low, I'd move Clay up some, obviously, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think that Clay is a better player than Kyrie Irving. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And then me, I would think that seeing Joel Embiid when he's healthy, because the problem is the last time we seen him, he wasn't healthy. He had a little weight on him, is having back issues or, whatever he's got to go. If this guy right here is healthy, he belongs up here for sure.
You put Joel Embiid at 95.
Yes, because I believe that with the ball in his hands in today's NBA, he is unstoppable.
Wow.
And he has shown that when he's, the guy eats up numbers.
Yeah.
It's
huge.
nothing.
I don't know. I would go as high as a 94 right now. I don't know if I'd put him in that top 6 category.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of qualifying that as those are guys you could win a championship as number 1s.
Yeah.
No,
that's fair.
If Joel Embiid's there,
I agree with that.
But in terms of talent, I agree. He's unguardable.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's crazy, unstoppable. But
and it's hard sometimes too to put big men in this situation, unless you're talking about Kareem, Shaquille O'Neal, some of the greatest ever played. It's hard to put bigs in a category to where they can be the best player on the championship because it's a dependent position.
Yeah.
They depend on somebody else to get them the ball. And then when they do, if they are great, they're getting double, sometimes triple team. And you got to have the right team around so they can kick it out like Shaq used to do to shooters and those type of things. So it's a dependent position. But I just believe, pound for pound talent, if he is healthy, he's just as good as any of these guys up here if he's healthy. Yeah. And I think he's going to continue to prove that to us. And I think he has a chance to prove it this year. Al Horford next to him. And,
Sixers are good.
You got Tobias Harris' role, who's going to really be defined now with no Jimmy Butler there.
Yeah.
And, I think that Philly team is going to be really good.
Yeah. I think I'm a huge Giannis fan. I love Giannis.
I am too.
I'm hesitant to say I would make Giannis a 97 up there in that category with the top 2 guys.
Until he shows us he can get a jump shot.
I know, but it's the playoffs and the jump shot that stops
Until he can show us that he can
Yeah.
shoot. then that's when we put him there.
I try to be objective here.
Yeah,
Politics,
that's when we put him there.
I would keep it at 96.
But Kevin Durant needs to be it. If we're going off these guys being healthy, because evidently this is what this is going off.
They're all healthy. Yes.
Kevin Durant needs to be a 97.
Yeah, you and Chris both said that you would like
Kevin Durant to me is a better player than Kawhi Leonard, and he is either a better player or right there with LeBron James as the best players in this league. Most definitely.
Yeah, I agree. And
definitely.
And I think Giannis will get there because that's the one guy. See, I think Giannis will be the KD stopper.
Yes.
I think in the East, when KD comes back and he's healthy,
yes,
and we see possibly Bucks Nets in that conference finals, because obviously the Bucks just sealed that team for the next couple of years
Yes,
with all
they
the
did.
deals they put together.
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun because Katie and Giannis are definitely going to have to guard each other.
Yeah, most
Nobody
definitely.
else in this league can keep up with those guys in their length
Yeah.
and athleticism.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would give, I agree with you. And I would give KD a little bit more love than that.
Yeah.
I mean, because to me, as a Laker fan right now, I'm not scared of the Clippers, right? I believe they're going to be really good, but
Right.
I'm not scared of them.
Okay.
If you swapped out Kawhi Leonard for Kevin Durant and put him on the Clippers, I'd be tremendously scared.
Would you really?
Yes, I would.
More scared than
Yes,
when
I
they have
would.
Kawhi?
Yes, I would, because that man is just completely unstoppable. And I've seen Kawhi Leonard have his moments where
Yeah.
he doesn't score.
That could be
He's
a
not a
whole segment
playmaker.
itself.
Kevin Durant just can get buckets no matter
Yeah.
what you do to him.
That's interesting.
Where Kawhi Leonard is obviously going to get his, but I think you can slow
Yeah.
him down. You can't slow Kevin Durant down.
Interesting.
There's nothing
if
you
you
can
put
do.
KD on the Clippers, how much better are they, or are they better? Interesting.
Yeah, because I believe that he's the most skilled player in our entire game. Obviously, Steph Curry is greatly skilled, but he doesn't have the size of Kevin Durant.
Right.
I believe that pound for pound, Kevin Durant is the best player in our league skill-wise.
Yeah.
I don't think that he can do some of the things that LeBron can do as far as, be the best
Yeah.
player and elevate a full team
Yeah.
as the best player with maybe no other all-star on the roster. I don't believe he can do that like LeBron can.
Right.
But skill-wise, there's nobody in this league that skill-wise touches Kevin Durant at his height and what he can do.
Yeah, it's
He's
interesting
amazing.
too, that conversation of are the Clippers better with? Would they be better with KD? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it's a complete.
We'll check that out on the next podcast,
Yeah,
right? Maybe
yeah.
that'll be a topic.
I think we should talk about that one. I think we can go pretty deep into that
Yeah,
one.
see, they're all coming out of here.
I know. It's really just him. I'm just the face. No. But I think that'll do it here, though.
All right.
Coming from the face, obviously. And from episode 2. And hopefully we'll get on episode 3 right after this one. But thank you guys for listening. And we'll catch you guys next time.
All right.
Cool.
Peace out. Thanks for listening.
Boom. Done.
All right. That's good.
Good.
Nice. We actually got into some other stuff and
I
went
know.
kind of further with it. Nice.
Yes.